Alrighty, before we start this podcast, I'm going to take a swig of coffee. Mm-mm-mm. Now, in case you're wondering, I enjoy my coffee black, and I tend to call it jet fuel because it just gets your girl going. Toot, 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 toot. Anywho, hello, and welcome back to Specimen the Sociologist. This is your host, Jessamyn Reichmann. Now, today's episode is going to look a wee bit different. A couple of weeks ago, I was commissioned by my former high school to give a keynote speech for their Unity in the Community Day, which is a day that they put their academic affairs to the side and they host student-led workshops for the entire day. And let me tell you, these workshops, powerful. Some of them spoke about reproductive justice here in Washington State, while others talked about the Israeli and Palestinian conflicts, to even one workshop, it was so precious, teaching folks how to make paella. It was beautiful to see how they leverage the concept of unity to talk about both interpersonal aspects as well as health issues and even international affairs. So, when they approached me a few weeks back to write a speech, I was not only excited because I love Roosevelt High School, but number two, it was a new task. And I was curious on how could I deliver a 3 to 4 minute speech that would be digestible for the student population, but still have a level of significance. And so, as I was brainstorming and thinking back to my time at Roosevelt, I also went and met with the leadership class to pick their brains on the current climate and culture. And I finally landed on this one liner, which is the title of the speech that I'm going to read to you today. And that title is Unity Will Cost You the Current Version of Yourself. So, without further ado, let's dive into the speech. Happy Unity in the Community Day, Roosevelt High School. My name is Jessamyn Reichmann, and I tend to tell folks that it rhymes with specimen, but with a J. As a second-generation alumni of Roosevelt, the school holds a special place in the hearts of my family and I. Most importantly, it holds a great wealth of memories that have contributed to my personal development. Memories such as hosting our homecoming assembly as student body president, leading non-sanctioned walkouts, to even being a quote-unquote throw bro on a track and field team. Whenever it came to embracing the fullness of Roosevelt High School, I never wanted to miss out on a single opportunity. However, as rich and as diverse as my time was at this school, it did not come without a cost. When you enter the hallways of Roosevelt, you are automatically greeted by its culture. This includes its values, traditions, and even the way that people think and engage with one another. This culture is formed in the small and consistent social interactions which ultimately shape how we see the world and the parts that we individually play. Now, this way of life is enforced by both students, faculty, and most importantly, its administrators. And as beautiful and as vibrant as culture can be, the truth is, in every community, there are unhealthy parts. Perhaps social patterns that aren't inclusive of other people. Maybe the false belief that you are only as valuable as the clothes that you wear or the friends that you hang out with. To even the limiting thought that as a teacher, your social responsibility is only to your classroom or to the direct students that you advise. So I ask the question, what happens when we begin to identify parts of our everyday lives that are unhealthy? Moments when there's conflict in the values that we proclaim and how we really show up. Well, Roosevelt High School, we begin with ourselves. Remember how I mentioned the cost of having such a diverse personal experience at Roosevelt? Well, that would not have been possible unless I was willing to check my biases and take the risk of stepping out of the status quo. Now, was it always met with acceptance? Absolutely not. Did I ruffle some feathers along the way? Absolutely. As you begin to reflect on your core values and shift how you show up each and every day, you not only begin to shift the culture, but you will begin to feel the unity in your community. And that is my final charge. As students and faculty members of this amazing institution, I challenge each of you today: what can you change about yourself that will leave a lasting legacy at Roosevelt High School? Now, it may not be easy practicing self awareness, and it may be uncomfortable to examine your core values. However, if you are willing to give up the current version of yourself, you'll find a more resilient community on the other side. As you spend the day in workshops and building new connections, don't be afraid to take risks. Learn something new about the person next to you. Answer questions boldly, and utilize this time to become a more authentic version of who you are. Don't forget what's written on the walls of the Commons. It says, "What I am to be, I am now becoming." So, to my fellow Rough Riders, I'm excited to see who you'll become by the time you cross that stage senior year and join me as a fellow alumni. Until then, have a powerful day. And that is about it. That's the end of the speech. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And while I understand it was geared towards a younger audience and specifically to Roosevelt High School, hopefully you were able to take a couple of nuggets of knowledge away and you can apply it to either your current workplace, to the church or the mosque that you attend, or maybe just to the relationship that you have with yourself, asking, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind in each and every one of your social interactions? Now, before I let you go, I have to do a quick shout out to my nonprofit, Roosevelt Alumni for Racial Equity. Now, it's not mine, of course, but I do serve as a board member, and it has been an absolute honor the past year and a half. We do amazing work from scholarship to community outreach, as well as local organizing. And most proudly, we developed a documentary called Roosevelt High School Beyond Black and White, which over this 35-ish minute long doc, we talk about Seattle's attempt to integrate its public schools, both the success and the failure, but ultimately just highlighting the history that impacts our everyday decisions. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that documentary in the bio of this episode. And if you get a chance, check it out. And I will talk to you later. Toodaloo.